Tennessee Titans, the reigning champions of the AFC South. They, of course, had the big signing of Bud Dupree when in the initial rush of free agency, and they gave him a boatload of money. And, Jeremy, I know you don't like that at all.
I don't. I think he and Matthew Judon were, to me, the two most overrated pass rushers in this class. And you gave him that kind of a lead. All right, let me put it this way. How much better do you think Bud Dupree is than Jadeveon Clowney?
I think it's close. But
I don't. I think it's markedly Bud Dupree.
Really?
However, the point of me asking you that is Jadeveon Clowney went to the Tennessee Titans and was a fucking afterthought. You could watch whole Titan games and forget he was even on the team. Bud Dupree ain't that much better. This is not like we're talking about some, middle-of-the-road journeyman pass rusher and Khalil Mack. That's not the difference here. My problem with Bud Dupree is I have two great big problems with him. One, he's never had a really productive year that he didn't have a great pass rusher on the other side. Guess what? Don't have one of those in Tennessee. Two, he's never had a great year, not in a contract year. Those are two of the biggest red flags in all of free agency. And you went and gave that dude the biggest edge rusher deal in a market that for once was flooded with edge rushers. That makes no sense to me. I mean, you had Melvin Ingram. I look at this team with the Titans and go, you didn't have to give 5 years to Bud Dupree. You're in a winning window right now. Go get a Melvin Ingram for, 1 year at $6 million. Go get and there's a lot of those guys. That's just the one that jumped off the page to me.
Ryan
Kerrigan, that's another one. Go get a guy in the draft. There's 50 of them. Why do you have to overpay for a guy coming off an ACL tear? It makes no sense to me. I said in the lead up to free agency, first of all, I hit this contract on the head. Second of all, I said this was the trap. This is the landmine, and somebody's going to fall for it, and it was the Tennessee Titans.
They lose Corey Davis. They lose Jonnu Smith. Adoree Jackson's gone. I mean, they blew up the entire secondary.
They lost the second best wide receiver that signed anywhere in the NFL. Kenny Golladay was one. They lost the best tight end that signed anywhere else. They lost the second best cornerback that signed anywhere else. And you cut him. And you cut Adoree Jackson. For what? To pay Bud Dupree?
No, to pay Janoris Jenkins.
Well, Janoris Jenkins was the fill-in. I mean, I look at some of the things the Titans have done here. To be honest with you, I think I was incredibly nice at a C-. This could have been a D-, and I wouldn't have thought a second thing about it.
Yeah.
The only reason it wasn't is because I'm down on Bud Dupree at the money he signed for. I still understand that he can be a very high-level pass rusher. I am scared that lazy Bud Dupree I saw as a rookie and early in his deal before T.J. Watt showed up, this is what I'm going to get now that he's been paid.
Yeah, I think Bud Dupree is an elite pass rusher in this league. I also like the fact that they kept Jayon Brown.
I also like the fact they brought in Denico Autry. You weakened a division rival and improved yourself. That's the reason this is a C- and not a Charlie Sheen.
Yeah.
It would never get to Gary Busey. Gary Busey is reserved solely for the Houston Texans.
For the Houston Texans. I'd love to have seen the Tennessee Titans add another wide receiver. If you're going to lose a guy like Corey Davis, you got to replace him. And
it was so easy to do that. That's another thing that I denigrated him for. Juju Smith-Schuster, I think he would have looked pretty good on the other side of A.J. Brown, don't you? And now you've lost Jonnu Smith. I think there's going to be a big regression in Tennessee. I'll be honest with you, the Colts are the best team in this division to me. It's not even close.
Oh, hell, Josh Reynolds is going to fill in, and he'll be fine.
Stop it.
He'll be good. He'll be good.